Before I get into the video, I just wanted to address the reception of the previous video I've made and just say thank you. I would have never thought it'd be shared or viewed to the extent that it has. And I give a huge shout out to Doug and Channel Awesome for making that happen. I also wanted to thank you guys. I got a lot of sweet and inspiring and really commendable comments and feedback on that video. And whether you commented under that video or contacted me through a direct message, those comments honestly mean the world to me, and I truly appreciate you guys for giving the video so much support. Also, a few people have requested that I'd make a tribute video for James, and I couldn't think of a better person to honor next. Thanks again for blowing away all the expectations, and I hope you continue enjoying my future content. Thank you so much.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of...
Hey!
Ho, ho, ho! Maybe somehow we'll make do with all of the other reindeer.
Olive? Olive the Other Reindeer, a 1997 children's story written by Vivian Walsh and illustrated by J. Otto Siebold, then became a 1999 TV movie distributed by Fox and produced by Matt Groening. Believe me, his name is very prominent. To start it off, I believe the best way I could describe the charm of the story is from Olive's innocence in the piece. She's a naive and optimistic Jack Russell Terrier wanting to be a reindeer from a misheard lyric establishing a sudden mission. Like any childlike wonder initiating a sudden persistence, she goes on a quest to help Santa and become a replacement reindeer on Christmas Eve, and is then rewarded for her selfless efforts. Not only is the story great to read aloud this time of year, but it's also one of accepting people for being out of the norm, and for just wanting to be encouraged and loved. So, how does the movie present the same simplistic moral to kids? Allow me to compare and contrast a little bit. The animation style is incredibly faithful and clever like the book's illustrations are. In the book, the cookie cutout presence allows for simplistic production and character design. Each image is pictured like a childlike drawing, having a straightforward sketching style and soothing shapes to give the story a sense of warmth. Some of the designs are odd, sure, but it's ultimately the interpretations and bright color palette that allow nice imagery all around. And this was also before more studios would remain more faithful to the animation styles of other adapted children's entertainment. The font remains the same as well, also playing along with child graphology, using larger and filled-in letters to present an out-of-this-world environment. And both have clever and creative nods throughout their works that are fun to engage with. And here's where I'm going to truly review the movie and offer dividends to the book. Firstly, the film is a musical. I don't know why kids' films think these are essential to storytelling, especially if they're forced in, but regardless, the songs here are just there to establish exposition, so I can't harm them for trying. The world is oddly complex in this movie. The blend of animal and human interaction is inconsistent, especially through the animals. Are they put in captivity or set free? This should be an either-or decision. It then gets confusing when Olive is found to have an owner and a pet flea, whom both present two extremely different parallels of selfishness. Tim doesn't like Olive for being a different dog for some harsh reason, and the flea insists on Olive following the mission and not only makes her avoid the owner's apology, but lies about his apology. Why do these characters exist to be the ones Olive is leaving behind for her journey? The people she cares about. What was wrong with the journey coming from her own self-initiative? Why is the tone so negative? Can't Christmas movies learn they shouldn't do this? In fact, there are a lot of characters introduced in this film. There's those animals, that guy, those people, okay, them too. Just look on IMDb. The antagonist is a mailman, obviously. And he is my personal pet peeve in this adaptation. He's like every other intimidating, non-intimidating villain who tries to capture the protagonist and stop them from getting their way or taking over the world in some respect or another. You don't need a villain to prolong him, her, itself through the motions. The other main character we get to know in the film is a con artist penguin named Martini. While he also plays along with some stereotypes as this anti-hero that becomes a better person in some way, because, he sells fraudulent watches on the street and has a tough exterior. He still had a good friendship with Olive, and I enjoyed how they both were helping each other out. He wasn't necessarily needed, but still fun to watch. As an overall impression for the other side characters, some of them are nice, and some of them could have been axed off the script. Another concept to bring forth here is that Santa Claus has canceled Christmas in this movie. Like that hasn't been done before either. I bring it up here because the conflict was so sudden and so out of place for this. In the book, they just have Olive commute on chosen vehicles and come just in time to offer her assistance. Santa understands what it's like having a dog, way before other films tried to inspire that too. She's welcomed in, tied onto the lineup, and has a cute moment where flying is found to be a bit easier than she thought. Remarkable abilities convenient to the story allow Olive to be an asset to the team in alternative ways than a reindeer would. And that repetition and setup guidance allows us to love these handy companions for what they could offer to a person's well-being. In the film, they present a desperation for Olive to get there because they have side characters that interrupt the plot, having to overpass security in the North Pole, well actually that's kinda interesting, and then have Santa and the reindeer having to follow Olive's intuition and move forward. There is so much thrown in to try to make the story a character versus society situation, when it never was that to begin with. It's about Olive's genuine happiness to take on what's given to her, to be creative in how she makes things work for her. It can't be shoved down a person or a dog's shoulders. The effort has to take a toll and the end result be worthy. I want to see Olive proud of her accomplishments and embrace the inner reindeer she has become. But even when Olive flies in the film, her go-with-the-flow personality is replaced with wanting to prove herself as part of the team. And already having intellect to get out of situations we could assume she has never encountered beforehand. Yes, she's sufficient and independent, but that doesn't mean she is also still learning about the world around her. There are forces trying to hold her back from her self-discovery, and they don't even last long for us to sympathize with her because the plot has to keep going in rush and execution. There is a nice moment where she's adding in words of wisdom.
Santa doesn't just give you stuff because you ask. You have to deserve it. I'm trying to deserve the good things I have, and the good things I hope I will have in the future.
But guess what? It only lasts only to go to a musical number about not being so bad. This is where the pacing and creative decisions personally annoy me. There are scenes of chemistry that work, which are unique to the movie. And there are also the best moments in the movie that come from retelling the book. The moments that were imaginative, fast yet perfectly timed for easy comprehension, the interesting art scheme, and a fearless theme of pursuing what many people may be afraid to go after. It didn't need plot elements to overcomplicate the ideas of the original. It didn't need to replicate another kids show or picture surrounding Christmas to be recognized. It didn't need musicality and added witty writing to add on to a straightforward tale that has a universal appeal. And I do mean universal. Most importantly, it doesn't represent the true meaning of sharing kindness during Christmas. Kindness is a personality trait that should come organically and for the right reasons. It allows us to share, to get along, to remain happy in the midst of our troubling world because we can better understand the people around us. Embracing that unconventional path of being something we're not is one thing, but Olive's immediate instinct to pursue an opportunity to be sweet to others, to be selfless and helpful in the offer's own creative ways, that's what kindness is about. Kindness comes from Olive, from the bus drivers who take her to the North Pole, from Santa and Common and the other reindeer. All without stakes, without a need to subjectify reality, because the world it has created is already a fictional being within itself. Kindness for other people allows peace and understanding to enter in, and that's especially key during the holidays. All of the other reindeer will always be nostalgic and close to my heart, and I know a special someone by my side is always a great friend to have all year round.
Merry Christmas.